to the Ready Hub with me, Dee. Today I'm going to take you through just a few gentle detoxing yoga poses. So we're going to work on the abdominal area. We're going to do some twists, some forward folds and some inversions to try and massage the internal organs and get the blood flowing in a different direction. So grab yourself a comfortable spot and we can get started. So we're just going to start in a cross-legged seated position. You can bring your hands to your knees. We're going to lengthen the spine, shoulders up, back and down. And we'll just bring awareness to the breath as we begin to inhale and exhale through the nose. As you inhale, feel your stomach rise. And as you exhale, feel it fall. And just focus on this breath for a couple of rounds as you arrive on your mat for your practice. On our next inhale, we'll lengthen the spine, bring the arms behind the lower back and interlace the fingers. And as we exhale, we'll come to hinge from the hips, folding forward. We'll come into a gentle forward fold to begin our practice today. Inhaling, slowly rising back up to center. We'll release the hands, bring them back to the mat beside you. Next inhale, we're going to reach up and lengthen. And as we exhale, we'll come into our first twist. So we'll bring that left arm to the right knee, right arm comes behind the back, and we'll look over our right shoulder. And inhaling back up to center, reach the arms up overhead to lengthen. And exhaling, we're coming around to the opposite side. So that right hand comes to the left knee, left arm comes behind the back, and look over the left shoulder. Twists are great for detoxing the body. So massages the internal organs. Inhaling, we're coming back up to center. We're reaching up and exhaling to release. Next, we're just going to come into a side stretch. So you can bring your right elbow down to your mat, or you can creep your hand out towards the right hand side. We're going to reach that left arm up overhead. Just take a couple of breaths here, breathing deeply into the left rib cage. You can look up towards that left arm if you feel comfortable. Inhaling, slowly coming back up to center. And we'll do the same with the opposite side. So you can stretch that left arm out to the side, reach that right arm up overhead. If it's accessible to you, you can come down onto your elbow. We're breathing deeply into the right rib cage. You can look up towards that right arm. Take a couple of breaths, deeply inhaling, feeling the rib cage expand. And exhaling, feeling it fall. And next inhale, we're slowly going to creep back up to center. And we're going to come down into a wide-legged child's pose. So just come down onto our knees. You can bring the toes together to touch. Knees hip distance or wider apart. Creep the hands out in front. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Next inhale, we'll lift our forehead, pushing into the palms. We're going to come up onto the knees, tuck the toes at hip distance apart. We're going to push down into our downward facing dog. So you can bring the feet hip distance apart. You can be on your toes with knees bent. Or if it's accessible to you, straighten the legs. Bring the heels to the mat. You're pushing evenly into all fours, so into the palms and into the soles of the feet. You can even bend the knees to pedal the feet out. Take a couple of breaths here. Next inhale, we're going to look forward and walk the feet up towards the front of the mat. Feet can be hip distance apart. As we inhale, we'll half lift and look forward. And as we exhale, we're going to fold over bent or straight knees. So whatever's comfortable for you here. We'll come to grab opposite elbows as we let our body hang in ragdoll. So you can gently sway from side to side. Let your belly come to rest on your thighs if possible. You can shake your head from side to side, nod it yes and no, or over and back. Making sure that the shoulders are away from the ears. Shoulders, neck and face are all relaxed. As you exhale, release your arms. Bring your hands to your hips. Next inhale, pushing into the feet. We're slowly going to rise up to standing. When we're here, again, keep your feet hip distance apart. As we inhale, we'll reach the arms up overhead to lengthen. As you exhale, come to lean towards the right hand side, trying to keep the hips straight and in line. Stretching, inhaling back up to center, and exhaling towards the opposite side. Inhaling back up to center, and exhaling, releasing the arms back down by the side. So you can come to stand on the length of your mat. We'll bring the feet out wide as you can. So if you bring your arms out wide, try and get the ankles in under the wrists. So nice wide stance here. We're going to tuck the pelvis, core is tight. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine and look up. And as we exhale, we're hinging from the hips. We're going to fold forward. So you can drop the hands towards the mat. Now you can have a bend in the knees here if you like. Shuffle them out a little wider. You can stay here if this is enough of a stretch for you. Or as you exhale, slowly lower down towards your mat. And just hold it here for a couple of breaths. Inhaling, we're going to come back up to half lift, so keeping the spine straight. Bring the palm of your hand into the center. As we inhale, we're going to reach up and twist towards the right hand side. Exhaling, bring that right palm back down to your mat. We'll bring it in towards the center and do the same at the opposite side. Inhaling, reaching up, looking up. Take a couple of breaths here. Exhaling back down to our mat. Come to half lift. Bring your hands to your hips. And as you inhale, pushing into both feet, we'll slowly rise back up towards standing. Just shuffle the feet back in together. As we come to the front of our mat, you can bring your toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. As we inhale, we're going to reach up. And as we exhale, we're going to come down into a chair pose. So if it's more comfortable for you to have your feet hip distance apart here, you can do that. So we're down in our chair pose. You can also do this seated. We're going to bring our hands down to heart center. We're going to come into a gentle twist. So we're going to bring our right elbow to our left knee. Hands to heart center, so you're twisting the upper body. Take a couple of breaths here. And release. Hands back to heart center. We're going to reach the arms up overhead. Exhaling. Bring the hands back down to heart center. Come back into our chair pose. We'll do the same at the opposite side. So that right elbow comes towards the left knee. Hands come towards heart center. You can look up towards the ceiling. And coming back around to center. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, forward fold. Bring the hands down to the shins. or the fingertips to the mat. Let the head hang. Pushing into the palms. I'm going to walk the feet back and come back down into another downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Dropping down onto our knees. We're going to come to sit back on the heels as we come to a seated position on our mat. So we'll bring the right leg out in front. Left leg can come in towards the sit bones. Now you can feel free to stay here, or if you want to deepen the stretch, we'll cross that left leg over the right. You can stay here. As we inhale, we'll raise the left hand and bring it around to the left hand side and just hug that left knee into the chest as we get a good twist in the body. You can come to hook that right elbow over the left knee. We're really twisting and squeezing the abdominal muscles in this one. And raising the right hand, we'll come back to center. If your leg is crossed, you can uncross it. And I bring that leg out in front, and we'll do the same at the opposite side. So you can either have the right leg at the inside of the left thigh, and it's fine to leave it here, inhaling to lengthen the spine. Or you can cross it over if you want a deeper stretch. Keeping this left leg active so the toes are pointed back towards you. Inhaling, we're reaching up. Bringing that right hand behind the spine. You can just hug the right knee into the chest, or you can also raise the left hand and hook it outside the right knee. Getting a good twist here. Take a couple of breaths here. And gently coming back to center. We'll bring both legs out in front. As we inhale, we'll reach up to lengthen. And as we exhale, we'll come into a forward fold. So we're hinging from the hips here, trying to keep the spine straight and long. You can reach for your thighs, your knees, your shins, ankles, or interlace the fingers around the big toes. As we inhale, we'll lengthen. And exhale, just coming to fold forward. Inhaling, rising all the way back up to center, and exhaling to release. Now we're going to come to bring our legs up the wall. So if you can come to a wall in your house, bring your sit bones as close to the wall as possible. So we can move into sit close to the wall. And then we come to lie down, swing our legs around, and bring our legs up the wall. So we're going to come. So lie down on our mats. You can shuffle in. Get your bum as close to the wall as possible. You can have a bend in your knees here if you like. We're just going to take it here for a few breaths. This is a really good pose to drain all the fluid from the legs. Get the blood flowing back up towards the heart. This is also a really great pose for the lower back. Releases pressure off the lower back. As you just focus on your breath here, slow and steady inhales and exhales through the nose. finally, we're going to bend the knees, squeeze the knees in towards the chest. You can push the feet into the wall. You can rock from side to side, so you're massaging your internal organs and your lower back on your mat. Feel free to come back and put your legs up the wall for another round, or you can come around to lie flat on your mat as we come into a Shavasana to relax following today's practice, feeling the benefits of the practice. So just bring the awareness back to the breath as you let your feet fall out towards the edges of your mat. Your arms come away from your body, palms facing up. So you just let your breath come back to your normal, natural rhythm. Notice how your stomach rises as you inhale and falls as you exhale. And feel free to stay here in your Shavasana for as long as needed. You let your body sink into your mat and feel that feeling of total relaxation. Whenever you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, you just bring the awareness back to the body. Gently wiggle the fingers and the toes, move the ankles and the wrists. Inhaling, reaching the arms back overhead, bringing the feet together, stretching the whole body as you lengthen. As you exhale, hugging the knees into the chest and rolling over onto the right side. You can take a breath here. And whenever you're ready, pushing into that left palm, you can slowly come up into a cross-legged seated position. Bring your hands to your knees. We'll take a breath here, inhaling to lengthen the spine. Again, we'll bring our arms behind our lower back, interlacing the fingers, ending like we began. Exhaling to gently fold forward. You can notice if you find any differences between your first forward fold to your last forward fold. Inhaling, slowly rising back up to center. Releasing the hands, bringing them to heart center. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope to see you again.